Good morning, everyone. This is Julie with Third Coast Coach, here today to talk to you about sustainability. So, specifically today, I want to talk about um, what sustainability is. So, what does that actually mean? And specifically to environmentalism. So, sustainability, the ability to sustain. Technically, the definition of sustainability is the ability to exist constantly. So, in environmentalism, this is Earth's ability to sustain herself constantly. Um, our ability as humans to sustain ourselves. So, in general, our ability to sustain life. Now, you might be wondering uh, why this is an issue. Why is sustainability so important, and why is everybody so concerned about it? Certainly where I live, it sure seems like we've got plenty to sustain our lives. We're not struggling. We have our issues, obviously, but in general, we have a lot right now. And that's exactly the problem. We are in excess. So there's a lot of different information out there that you can find if you do research on this about how bad this is and uh, how big of a problem it is. But I'm actually going to talk this morning a little bit about what's called Earth Overshoot. So this is a date that is calculated every year. It's been happening since 1970. They calculate the date within the year that we consume more resources than Earth can regenerate within that year. So, past that date, then we're borrowing from our future, basically. And that's an issue because eventually the resources will run out and Earth won't be able to sustain life as it is right now. So for 2020, interestingly enough, COVID had a positive impact on this. So originally the date was calculated to be July 29th. So we were only going to be able to consume through July 29th. And then after that date, we'd be borrowing from our future, basically. Earth could only sustain our level of consumption for 2020 through July 29th, which is just a little over half the year, right? So with COVID, we reduced our consumption, and it pushed that Earth Overshoot date back by 3 weeks to August 22nd. So, that's kind of interesting. People are, there's a lot of talk right now about how much from COVID our behavior changes are going to last and how much were just temporary. So you might be wondering, well, who's to blame? Why are we consuming so much? What is going on? So basically, there's two sides to this. There's the producers, and then there's the consumers. So right now there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and it depends on who you talk to, but some are going to say, well, the producers, the big corporations, need to source and produce and distribute more responsibly, and then other people will say, no, the consumers have to stop consuming so much, which is driving the producers. Well, when you look at the big picture, it's both sides, okay? Everybody on all levels, on all sides, has to take responsibility for this issue and start implementing solutions. That's the individual, the corporation, the government, everybody, right? So now you might be wondering, well, what can I do as an individual? Well, there's a lot you can do. And, some people will say it doesn't matter what the individual does without the corporations changing their behaviors. It's not going to matter. Well, that's true to a certain degree, I believe. The corporations do need to take responsibility and source, produce, distribute more responsibly. But the individual also has to take responsibility, and together as individuals, we have a huge impact. So one of the strategies that you can take and implement is the R's of sustainability. So there used to be 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. And in that order. Now they've added 2 more, which are really cool. So we've got reduce, reuse, repurpose, repair, and then recycle. And notice recycle is the last one. So for those of you who are not recycling yet, you might think, well, that's the first thing I need to do is start recycling. Well, actually, it's the last thing you need to do if you're going to do the others first. Now, if you're not going to do the others, yeah, recycling is a given. But what we have found out, and you may already know, most of our plastic is not recycled that we put into the recycling bin. We wash it, we clean it, we put it in there. Most of it ends up in the trash, shipped overseas, or in the ocean. So there are some materials that are highly recyclable and valuable, aluminum, glass, metal, paperboard, cardboard. Those are all really good recyclables. The issue is really with the plastic. But in general, it takes a lot of energy to run the recycling stream, so it's better not even to generate that waste, even the materials that are highly recyclable. So in talking about the 5 R's, obviously reducing your consumption is important, so see what you can do to curb your spending, curb your consumption of goods, food, everything, water, energy, all of your consumption, your gasoline, your heating, your cooling, your washing machine, your dryer is a big source of energy consumption. So reducing is important, and then reusing. See what you can do to switch to reusable goods as much as possible and stop using single-use items. Repurposing, if you have something that you no longer need, see if you can use it for another purpose to not only reduce your waste, but help avoid you having to purchase something for that other need. And then repair. Fix your stuff. Like, for an example, your vacuum breaks. Don't just throw it in the trash and go buy a new vacuum. Go take it to the repair shop and see what you can do to get it repaired. Your fabrics, mend your fabrics. Hold on to your good clothing. Especially, as you switch to natural fibers and away from the polyesters, which are plastic. Get a mend kit and start mending those little tears to keep your fabrics in use. And then, obviously recycling is important. So it still is important. Even though it's the last on the list, it is one of the R's. So, it really comes down to, for the individual, learning, educating yourself, being conscious about every choice you make every day, because every choice matters and impacts Earth and impacts our ecological footprint, and definitely contributes to our level and our ability to sustain life on this planet. So I hope this was helpful in sharing a little bit more information about what the issue is and what you can do personally to help improve our situation. In my future videos, we're going to be looking at the R's in more depth, and I hope you will tune in at that time. So thank you for your time this morning. I hope you have a great day.